you, dude, you say you just come back from tour, man. Love in America, man. I mean, give us a kind of. I mean, you say you come back, it's all gone. Give me a sort of breakdown of that step by step. I mean,
Well,
you sort of you broad brushed it there, my friends. You sort of said you went boom. Well, give me some sort of step by step process how that happened.
well, basically, we were last time we spoke. I was in the middle of touring through America. Radio shows, and that kind of all culminated in the A3C festival with Rick Ross and Royce 59 down in Atlanta, which was incredible, mate. It was really eye opening. It was very eye opening. The culture down there, the people were, you hear about Southern hospitality, and it really is a thing down there. But what you don't know is they're absolutely mental as well. They are absolutely unhinged. So you've got to be on your P's and Q's, which was fine. I'm not a typically rude person anyway, so that was fine by me. But yeah, it's a whole different ball game down there. They don't play. They don't. Yeah, it's a bit mental. Just leave it at it's a bit mental. So I did the A3C festival. I flew back to England to see the family, spend some time with the family, and then I got another call to go on tour with Devin the Dude. So I flew back over to Chicago. We did the House of Blues in Chicago. Hit up Vegas, which was, mate, Vegas is insane. It really is incredible. From there, I went back to Detroit. Then we went to, where did we go to next? We went to Ohio next. And obviously I'm not too sure. Did I tell you about the time I ran into Dave Chappelle at the radio station?
I think you did briefly, yeah.
Yeah. So I ran into Dave Chappelle. For anyone that doesn't know this, I ran into Dave Chappelle while we were touring and promoting. And basically, when I went back this time, Dave actually came out to see the show live in Ohio. So he came back out to see me and Devin performing and stuff like that. And I got to sort of hang out with him and sort of catch up, you know what I mean? And he actually remembered me from the radio thing. It was crazy. And I'm sat there thinking to myself, I'm from a council estate in England, and you're Dave Chappelle. You're one of the, if not the biggest comedian to ever do it, like the biggest in the world. And we're just sitting here, chatting crap, basically, like we've known each other for the longest. I'm like, that's surreal. That is so surreal. So yeah, no, I went from Ohio back to Detroit to do some more recording because I'm working on my next album now. From there, I did a show in Zurich, so I had to go from Detroit to Zurich, then back to England. Yes, no, they had their marathon or something like that, the Zurich annual marathon. And so I got invited to perform at one of the after parties, which is great for me. I'm like, okay, fair enough, So did the show, flew back to England, and literally a week later, I was headlining a show over here in my hometown, which was amazing because everyone had been following me online. They'd been following my social media, all of the bits and bobs like that. And in that time, during the travels and whatnot like that, Facebook, they verified my channel, Spotify verified my channel. So everyone back home was looking at these accolades going, oh, wow, he's doing it. He's really doing it and stuff like that. And it was only when I stepped out onto stage, because I didn't want to jinx it, right? So I was headlining this show in my hometown when I got home. And it was only when I stepped out onto stage and I saw just a sea of people, I was like, wow, okay, so this is how far it's reached then. Like, I didn't, because before the whole, America thing, I had a few, I had a few fans, a few friends, family members. Everyone believes in you, but as soon as they saw it, as soon as they saw me rubbing shoulders with people like Dave, like Devin, like that, they were like, wow, he's really doing it. He's really doing it. And suddenly, you know how it is, mate. Like, I love my hometown. I love the people, but they had to see that to really believe that I could do it. Do you know what I mean? But it was surreal, man. It was surreal seeing so many faces, like, just from my hometown, people I knew, people who don't really associate with me either. Everyone came out. It was incredible, man. It was incredible. And so I've just been doing shows across the UK. Literally, I've just got back from what was that, 2 days ago, doing a show with the guys from High Focus. Do you know High Focus? Dirty Dyke. I was doing a show with them the other day. So it's literally been non-stop, mate. It's really been non-stop. So,
well, dude, I mean, there's so many kind of points I want to talk to you about, but I think the first one is, I've always wanted to ask someone from our part of the world what Vegas is always about, because I think a lot of people go over there. Particularly, I know people have gone over there and had maybe a day there and they were on a honeymoon. But man, you're a very unique perspective, because you've gone there as the other side. You kind of seen the other side of the curtain. So you did say it was kind of like, well, you imagine Vegas. Well, God, man, paint a picture for me, man. Paint a picture of what Vegas is really like.
Vegas is incredible. Vegas is incredible. The thing about Vegas that I found is everything is done with a purpose, and the purpose is money, right? So, you know what I mean? I met a lot of promo guys and promo girls and things like that, promoting the shows and whatnot like that. And they're super cool. They're really energetic. They're really friendly to you. But it's because they're paid for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Everything is very calculated. Everything is so precise to the T on the back end of it. But it's all lights and glamour and glitter on the front. So you don't realize you don't stand a chance of winning, because it's a sensory overload. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why they say, man, the house always wins, and they really do. Right down to the promo kid in the street that you met in the afternoon that put the idea in your head of to where to go. Do you know what I mean? It is, oh mate, it's a playground. It is an absolute playground. And
well, that's go on.
No, that's it, man. I mean, they looked after us too, man. Like they really did. Because obviously, Devin being Devin, he draws a crowd anyways. So they really put out for us, and they made sure we were comfortable and ready to go. And everything was queued up. Everything was just right. You know what I mean? There was nothing slapdash about it. It was these are your times, these are your things, and that. Are you ready to go? Good. Let's get it in. Let's get it done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, man. To be honest, seeing the Vegas Strip at night is something else. It really is.
Okay, you mentioned something else, because again, you only ever see it on TV, and I don't know, man. I mean, I can imagine it for experience, but is it as fake as it looks? I mean, does it?
Absolutely, absolutely, mate.
Sweet.
Oh, yes, no. Vegas is all bells and whistles because it has no substance, because it is a money machine, right? So it needs to overload your senses, and you need to sort of get swept up in that party vibe. It's so easy to get swept up in a party vibe in Vegas, because if they don't sweep you up, there's nothing of substance there to do. It is literally party, drink, spend money, gamble. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I found out that for the right money, you can rent a tank in Vegas. A tank, man. That's not a joke. That's not a lie. You can actually rent a tank. I don't know why you'd want a tank, but you can rent a tank. It's a playground.
Man, this was the other point I kind of like, and I think it's a really again you can give a very unique perspective on, because particularly people, our part of the world, man, they kind of think, traveling from London to Leeds is a big issue, or like, oh, I'm going to go from Liverpool to Glasgow, but like you say, when you travel the States, dude, you realise kind of how vast that country is, and how, when people just put, they say Americans, it's like, man, like you just quite eruditely explained. I mean, you can't explain Americans. They're not one big homogenous group. They're, as you said, from one side to the other. Now, you mentioned Atlanta and down the south part of that, and I've spoken to a few people on this podcast who are from that part of the world, and they who are living, born and bred there, they say exactly the same thing. They say it's, and what they relate to is back in the day when it was just, well, they were sort of saying, if you know any sort of the history of that part of the world, especially Miami, I mean, pre-60s, that was nothing, dude. It was only the drugs and the cocaine from Colombia and that made that the place it is. So it's always had this kind of, there's always kind of this underground vibe anyway. But one of the fascinating things I wanted to find out from you, whether you felt the same thing, but a lot of people I know down there, they say, okay, you can hear extremes, and they say it's, people overplay it, but they do say there is a, particularly around Miami or Florida, there is that undercurrent, and the people, like you said, they're very real, but they're very kind of, they're not shy to show it, as in getting a knife out or chasing people around or fist fights. It's kind of quite raw. Now, I don't know if you experienced that, or if that's anything you can relate to, or you saw when you were there.
Okay, so here's a story, right? So we just performed. We just got off the stage, and we were buzzed. We were so hyped up. And I turned around to the boys. I was like, "Look, I need to go back to the hotel. I need to shower. I need to change." And then let's go hit the city. Like, we're only here for the night. And then we're traveling back to Detroit. I was like, let's go out. Let's go and have a drink. Let's mingle amongst the people, right? And so we did. We went back, got changed, all the rest of it. Drove down past the venue where we performed at, right? And literally about, I don't know, 10, 15 foot away from me. Now, we're talking about double the size of a basketball ring, right? Like, do you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, between 10 to 20 foot, right? A guy is stood there in the car park shooting shots of his gun in the air and waving it around the parking lot, firing from where our car is, because we're stopped at some lights right next to this car park. And he's shooting shots. People are running everywhere. In the distance, I can hear machine gun fire. We're talking about AKs. I'm not even joking. This is not a lie. I can't make this up, right? I cannot make this up, mate. You know I'm just going to say how it is, right? This guy is shooting up. Put it this way. It's that close to the car. I can see the muzzle flare. I can see the flare from the actual tip of the gun as he's shooting shots in the air, and everyone's scattering. And I'm saying to my driver, go. Like, what are we doing here? And literally, you can hear AKs going off in the background. Apparently, it's because the festival and that, and it brings everyone out in the city. And, mate, as I say, the South is very hospitable. The people are lovely to a point. Don't cross them, though, because they take it seriously. Like, they're very sensitive people, and people in the States have such a warped view on life anyway. Not to sound disrespectful, but life is a lot cheaper to them than it is to us. So yeah, I don't think that guy thought twice about waving this gun around and shooting it off in this car park. I think he thought that was acceptable or something. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, literally, it was right there in front of me, and I was like, okay, what am I doing here? This. I'm just a rapper, mate. That's all I do. Like, I'm not part of this life. I'm not in it. It's there to rap, mate. You know what I mean? So yes, but it's nuts.
No, dude, I think it's a really insightful thing you pick up on, because I think that's why I love talking to someone like yourself who's been over to America and had a real experience it. Because, dude, we are black and white, aren't we, man? I mean, like it's the old joke over here. I mean, the most thing you've got to fear over here is a fist fight, really. I mean, maybe someone to pull a knife, but the idea, like you said, you can just. I mean, but that is. I mean, that's what I was trying to say, dude. I've heard that story, not the same kind of thing, but yeah, that's a true reflection you're giving, man. Because what is it? There's more guns in America than there are Americans, dude. I mean, They can't put
Yeah,
that genie back
they
in the
are
bottle, can
actually.
they?
Yeah. Mate, it's a madness. It really is a madness. Did I cover in my last interview with you? Did I cover the label meeting that I went into? Where
No,
the guy sat the gun on the table.
no.
Mate, this is what I'm talking about. Listen, I can't make these things up, right? I wouldn't make them up anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's just not my way. So, me and my manager set up a label meeting, right? And we were like, cool, we'll pitch the album, you know, see if we can get finance for it and we can push it with a full marketing plan, full marketing budget. Let's go. So we went to meet this guy. We met him in his office and he sat us down and he turned around to us. He goes, if you repeat anything you hear in this room or you know, repeat anything you see or hear, I'll kill you. And we were like, all right, mate, calm down. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to posture around here. You're all right. To which he pulled out a 9mm, put it on the table facing me. And I was like, okay, that's a game changer. That's a game changer. And then he proceeded to tell me how he wanted to give me 200,000 for the album, for the budget. And he wanted me to go over to China and Asia and promote over there because hip hop's big in Asia, as we know. And I was like, but I'm over in America right now promoting. Like, I've come from England to America. Surely that gives me an edge. That makes me different and easy to market. He goes, listen, and these are his words. These are his words. I swear to God. He goes, if I have to say again, I'll shoot you. So literally, I can't make this up. I cannot make this up. So I turned around to him because I was like, no, I can't say no to this guy, right? And I can't say yes. Obviously, I can't say yes because the guy was clearly not 100%. He weren't a full shilling at all, right? So I turned around to him. I was like, listen, I'm not going to say yes now. I'm going to go away with my manager. We're going to discuss this. And then we're going to come back to you. You're a businessman, so I'm sure you understand. Right? And he's like, yeah, of course I do. And I'm like, I know you would, right? I step outside with my guy. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? What was that? And he turned around to me and goes, his reply was, I've never seen that side of him before. I was like, are you mad? Are you actually mad? But it turns out, right, like it draws back to our conversation earlier. The biggest thing you've got to worry about in the UK is a fist fight, right? Like that's it. I went to a business meeting and got a gun pulled on me. So, do you know what I'm saying? Like the average things over here, I don't know. It kind of desensitizes you a little bit. Like I see a lot of posturing around me and stuff like that. If ever I'm at shows or performing and stuff like that. And I'm like, you guys really don't know how lucky you are. You really, like, we take it for granted over here, but we have, you know, we've got it in us if we need to have it in us, you know, the whole British Empire, blah, de blah, and all that rubbish. But Americans are crazy. They're genuinely crazy. Like, we don't realize how fortunate we are to have the things in play that we do have, or the lack of guns, the lack of this, that, and the third. You know, goods, you know, to a degree, good systems in place that, you know, stop us from going off the deep end so much.
Yeah, well, dude, you're getting into a discussion about that's the very, you know, the duality of America, isn't it? Because you can argue that America's the greatest experiment in freedom and expression and being allowed to say these things. I mean, as I always sort of think, man, it is that weird experiment where they literally walked away from the monarchy over here and went, okay, but with that has come all this. And I mean, I do know you must have met many Americans, and I've spoken to them, dude. I've spoken to them on this podcast many times, and they will argue till their dying breath that they would never give up their gun because it's the actual freedom of giving up their gun that they don't like the idea of the government controlling the guns. I mean, and you can understand that's what I'm saying. It's this duality of America, isn't it? Because it's the ultimate freedom, but the ultimate with that goes the ultimate kind of, like you say, dangers, I suppose.
Oh, of course, mate. Of course. You know, it's. Do you know what? I've brought this conversation up so many times with people, about their guns and this, that, and the third, and they're like, yeah, it's for protection and stuff like that. I'm like, but why have you got an AK? Like, how many people are you are trying to siege your house? I mean, this isn't the purge. This isn't the purge. You don't need an AK-47 plus this, plus that. Get a little handgun. If someone comes in and they threaten to kill your family, then protect your family. Cool. But you don't need to turn them into a pincushion. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's protection, and then there's overkill. And then that becomes, that in itself can become a tool for spreading fear. Do you know what I mean? Because what happens if you come in drunk one night and you've been arguing with someone in a bar and you know you've got an AK? Come on, that's I mean, and we hear about it all the time. Guy goes crazy, kills 30 people in a bar. Like, it's so sad to say this. It's so sad to say this, but it's commonplace over there. And what upset me was my friends and people I consider family over there are so desensitized to it. They literally see these headlines, and their reaction to me is, it's just how it is here, mate. That's just how it is. And I'm like, it shouldn't be though, man. Like, that's a travesty. You know, that's a travesty. We had a couple of things going on lately over here, and the country stopped dead in its tracks. The country stopped absolutely dead because it shouldn't happen here, and we morally know it shouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? It's not just, oh, well, it's business as usual. No, it's not business as usual. It's what's wrong here. Let's fix this so it doesn't happen again. Sorry, I'm going off on a rant here. I'm going off on a tangent.
No, dude, you're absolutely right. And this is the problem of, I mean, man, this is like all things. If it was only simple solutions to everything, then the world would be an easy place to control. But that's the problem. This world's a very difficult and complex place. And ultimately, as we know, this all breaks down to mindset, dude. This is where you step in and I step in as creative people, because we're trying to shift that narrative and say, look, like, dude, it's all right having somebody from, you know, the government or a corporation or any media or anything telling you, oh, look, don't do the guns. Dude, the most powerful thing to hear about human life is someone like you and spitting the lyrics you do and saying, look, this is why we should be what we're doing. It's far more power. That's why I said I think the greatest weapon in the universe is what we have in our hands as creative people. That idea to manifest an idea and put it out and shape people. Man, that's why governments and corporations fear the creative. That's why they try to manipulate us, man. That's the real truth of it.
Do you know what the reality of it is? The reality of it is, and as bad as I'm going to sound right now, this is the reality is, creative people thought everything up. From your mattress, from your laptop, from your financial infrastructure, it's all come from someone's mind. It's all come from an idea, right? But now what happens if your creative idea starts to conflict someone else's creative idea? Well, then now you've got friction. I mean, you see this all the time. You see copyright infringements and things like this. And it's nothing to do with, I took a piece of your music and put it in my music. I'm not getting paid for the piece of my music you took. It's all financial at its core, at its absolute base. So we creative people created all this infrastructure, and we're talking about everything, you know, we're talking about absolutely everything. But when my creative idea starts taking money out of your pocket, or starts, you know, losing your system money, then we've got a problem. And that's where we find bloody big corporations, we find legal systems and stuff like that turning against us and demonizing us, like major media. You know, we have over here in the UK, our print media and things like that, it's pretty much, you know, blanketed under one group of people, and they control what you read, they control what you digest. So if you're not on their good side, they'll shut you out. They'll shut you out completely as far as their reach goes, and any outlets that they can't shut you out of, they'll demonize you. So it's like creative people did this, but I think it's been corrupted by money. It's been corrupted by it's, what is it, the best way? Kendrick said it. It's been pimped. It's been pimped. The systems are being pimped. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've always looked at this, and I think the same thing. I mean, like, you're absolutely right, my man. And I think the real secret and the real, dude, I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know your thoughts on this, but I think we're not going to get the media to change. And I don't really want to be approved by the media. I don't want to be approved by this, because I think where we are right now, and I think this is the difference, because you're saying they control. You're right, they do control. But the point is, I think this is, and I've been really wrestling with this one for the last few months. I think all this idea of there's a group of people controlling us, whether it's true or not true, and we could spend the whole night discussing, you know, those who do control them. But I think the idea, if you start to feed into that narrative and that dialectic in your mind, it makes you weak as a person, because you sort of think, oh, I can't do anything, and those people. It's not about that. We can form our own systems. So this is what you're talking about, because the reason we live in these cities is because people built it from the bottom upwards. This is the point. The reason that wars are done, it's always the people that build stuff, and then the people at the top. And it's not so much money. It's more about we've always allowed people to control us, because basically I think the dialectic is we as humans are afraid to do anything ourselves, so we'd rather. So it's almost like sell a part of our soul to go, okay, well, I'll hand it over to somebody else. They will do the good for me. Instead of doing that, just do it ourselves, dude. And that was,
yeah.
This is what I love about hip hop. It's always had that entrepreneurial thing about it. And I think it's a great power if we can use it. But like you said, the trouble is you start going down that path, and like you said, money, ego gets involved. And before you know it, you're looking, and that's the problem, man. And that's why I think to be truly creative, dude, it's one of the hardest walks of life. That's why I honestly, I'd like to know what your thoughts is. I personally don't think everybody can be creative. I think it's a very hard discipline, hard path to walk down. I think it requires intelligence, creativity, all the things that not everybody has. And particularly, it's a very difficult and hard path to go down, because, dude, you can't have an idea, and you've got to go down so many paths to get any kind of reward. So it takes a certain type of person. I don't know what your thoughts on what I've just generally said, but
no, it's to turn a thought, to manifest the thought into a completed project. It's not a walk in the park. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. It really isn't, because it all starts for me personally. It all starts with an idea. It all starts with a concept. You know, my music personally, it's very visual. If any of the guys watching this have listened to the music, they'll know it's very visual. You can see where I am. You can see, you know, I lay it out like that. But it all starts with an idea. It all starts with okay, what is the setting for this? You know, is it myself that's in this setting? Is it a story I've heard? Is it? But yeah, no, you're completely right. The creative process is incredibly difficult, because then you have to either compose, you know, the music to catch that mood as well, or you have to relay that to someone that you trust to catch that mood, and be brave enough to say, no, that's wrong. It's not quite that. It's more this, and hope that you get there. And to be honest, that can take months. But I always live by this this sort of understanding. You never know how close you are to breaking, you know, to making it. But you'll never know if you quit. Do you know what I mean? You'll never know if you stayed pushing, if you kept pushing for one more day, that was the day that you were going to go and you were going to blow up. You never know. So always in my mind, I just keep my head down. I'm just making music. That's literally all I do. And I say this, that's become my new go-to thing. I just write music. If I'm not writing, I'm performing, but it's all musical. It's all parts of my craft. I'm just honing my craft because that's all I know how to do. You know.
It is, my friend. And this is why I in some ways it's no accident I use the hashtag slay positive, because I do sort of see it's like we're samurai warriors in that sense. And it's, dude, you're right. It's that discipline thing. And I think I'm just saying with art or anything I do, you to get that flow, you have to concentrate on it. And it's like you want to just get rid of all your distractions. But it's really, this is again, that's that path, because you don't want to go too far into one path, because if you start, just like you say, isolate yourself and just listen to loads of music, hey, great, that'd be great for you, but you need that outside people. You need to go out.
Exactly.
And dude, and I think one of the hardest things, particularly for musicians and artists, I think more than any other creative field really, is that whole point of, and I think you must think about this, and I go through your mind at times, that particularly being a musician, but you can have a track, and if you do get something, and you, like you said, you don't know at what point it blows up, but if you do have a certain point it blows up and it's around a certain piece of music, the hardest thing then must surely to be like, oh, okay, do I just keep producing this over and over again? And I've seen it all my life with so many bands, and it's like one album after another album after, and you got so then. But the trouble is, dude, it's easy to get angry at these people, but you can understand why, because their crowds are getting bigger, they're getting more of what they want, but if they start to stray out of it, the crowd are like, boo, boo, what are you doing? You're straying outside your boundaries. So it's a very hard path, man.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Kendrick found that out as well. Like his Good Kid, Mad City album was incredible. It's probably, my favorite album that he's created, my favorite piece of work that he's created. And then he went from Good Kid, I think he went to Pimp a Butterfly, and that was more jazz. That was more, rhythm and blues, soul influence than Good Kid. Like Good Kid was just straight up raw hip hop, street hip hop, and I love that, because that's just that. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, so raw hip hop, DMX, Redman, Method Man, like that was my golden age for me. You know what I mean? And that really encapsulated that time period for me. But I had to listen to Pimp a Butterfly a few times because he changed it up, and it weren't a bad album. It was an incredible piece of work, but it weren't Good Kid, and it was never going to be, because as creatives, you've got to show that there's more to you than just that. Do you know what I mean? Because if you keep doing Good Kid, then when you're in your 50s, in your 60s, doing festivals, it's gonna sound very samey, and you're gonna be that sad old artist that didn't grow and didn't reinvent themselves and didn't challenge themselves and push the envelope. But I think Kendrick's done that. I think his new album, Damn, is an incredible piece of work. It's a lovely blend of all of his previous works, because he's challenging himself and he's pushing the envelope, because he knows himself, to be the best, you need to leave no room for doubt. Can you rap over a soul beat? Well, yes, I can. There's an album full of it. Can you rap over a rock beat? Well, yes, I can. There's an album. Do you know what I mean? He's, for me personally, he is the most creative rapper on the scene right now. The most creative. J. Cole has an incredible message, but his style is very consistent through his albums. And I think that goes back to, the Drake, J. Cole type way of finding a method that works and stick to it. J. Cole's got a message in his music. Drake's got that party sound. But Kendrick keeps evolving. he keeps changing things, and his sound keeps hitting the right buttons, because I've not heard anyone turn around and say they hated any of his albums. You know, whether it be Good Kid, he struck the right chord with the right crowd. You know, Pimp a Butterfly again, and with Damn, I think that's just an incredible. The balance is beautiful. But yeah, man, I love that there are artists that aren't afraid to evolve, and that aren't afraid to challenge themselves.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, it goes back to what you were saying. I'm sure, you know, when you're talking to Dave Chappelle as a comedian, or you're talking to a rapper or a musician or an artist, anyone you're doing, dude, the harder part, I honestly think this, and this is my perspective on it, but I think the reason that we are creative people, we're not sitting there, you know, whether we're artists, what we do, wherever it is, the reason we're not sitting in the office and doing it is because we want the joy of it, and it's kind of like there is a joy to it, and I think the ultimate joy of creativity is when you're ultimately free, and then at that moment you're not, as you just said before, that's what guards you against just being repetitive, because you're like, oh, actually the joy of this is just bang, something new came out. And that's, dude, you must find the same when you must be writing lyrics and you're like, whoa, where did that line come from, where did that beat come from, where did that melody, and it's one of the, it's that sort of, to me that's the drug of us, what we're searching for. It's that creative thing of like, wow, that fix we're always looking for. So by being that, you're always going to be on an edge. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I think the people who are repetitive, they almost kind of give up on their rationale of their soul. And that's why they say almost like they become soulless people, because they just repeat, and it's they've lost the joy of life, and it doesn't. And I think that's the whole point of ultimate. Dude, it's like you just said, man, we're in a privileged position that we can create. You know what I mean? There's so many people that are having to, you know, fend off bullets in this planet, or, you know, like, so it's a situation we're in a position we can. Hey, you should at least, at the very bottom line, enjoy it.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, for me personally, I love jumping on the stage. I love that initial excitement from people when I you know, get onto the stage, you know, because I'm like, wow, you came to see me. Like, I don't know any of you people, but, like, you know, when I'm performing abroad or whatever like that, I'm like, I don't know any of you people, and you're cheering, you're screaming, and you're singing my lyrics, and that's amazing. That's a drug in itself. First and foremost, that is a drug in itself, right? But when I'm on stage and I'm doing my thing, and I say a line that when I wrote it and I sat there, I was like, that was genius. That was absolutely incredible. And I get super excited. And then to perform that and watch a crowd lose their mind to that line or that piece of the music, I'm like, yes, see, there it is. You get it. Like, you feel how I felt making this. And that's all it is, man. I mean, what happened was, so I did a show. Basically, what happened, I put on a show in my hometown when I got back after all of the traveling around and all the touring. Because I kept getting people hit me up saying, yo, we're seeing you doing this. We're seeing you traveling around. When are you going to do a show in the hometown? You know, when are you going to do a show for us? You know, you keep traveling here and there. We want to see it. So I was like, okay, let's do it then. I'll put on the show. I'll do the thing. And my mum actually came to the show, right? And so, you know, we're talking, it was a packed out room. It was packed out. It was incredible. And one of the songs that I performed was called Embarrassment. It's off my album. And literally, middle of the show, packed out room, I jumped off the stage into the middle of the crowd, and I literally walked up to my mum, who was there. She's a little old lady. Do you know what I mean? She's a little old lady. And I started singing to her in the middle of this room, in the middle of this packed out room. Everyone was surrounding me. Everyone was going crazy. Because I wrote the song for her. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, this, forget everything. Like, this is the most personal thing I could ever do for you, as a thank you for just everything that culminated in me being here right now. The struggles that we went through and things like that. Thank you for everything. And for me to be here, for you to see your son and the way these people see me, and to be able to just be like, you know, this is your time, and you're all that matters in this room right now, while everyone, literally a circle of people around me, are just losing their mind. And no one was aware. Like, that was the best thing, man. No one was aware that was my mum in the room. Literally the amount of, and obviously she started tearing up and things like that. But then we had people like hugging her and things like that. Like, there was no, in hip hop, there's a lot of ego, as we know. And the room had some really big hip hop names in. You know, I had the battle rap champion come through, a guy called Tenchu. He came through to watch the show. He's a good friend of mine. Do you know what I mean? And even he walked over to my mom and gave her a big hug and things like that. And I'm thinking, if the battle rap champion of England, if there's no edge to him, then there's, you know, no one else in this room has a right to have an ego. And it was all love in that moment. It was an incredible feeling, man. But it's a drug. It really is a drug to me. These performances, to get up on stage, to do my thing, and to have people feel what I feel when I perform, and have it hit the way it's meant to hit. You know, because everything's written with a purpose, right? Like, we write it to spark an emotion, to spark a thought or a feeling. And literally when that track hit and everyone they were going crazy for it, but to be able to be amongst people and do that as well, it just amplified it completely for me.
Well, this is one of the things. This is one of the different experiences you get as, you know. And I've had a brief reflection, you know, for being a musician briefly, but you get this experience far more than I do, maybe as an artist, because I put out, you know, a piece of painting, and then it's kind of either it's gone. It's, you know, somebody else's experience. I don't get to see that visceral experience that you get to see when you're having that. And I think this is one of the things, because it's ultimately, it's what goes. This is the power of, like you said, we're manifesting intent from inside us, and we're putting it into something, and you're getting to see how that is really shifting people's actual synapses in their consciousness, because once they start to sing the words and they're reacting to it, it's in their mindset. You actually, you're biologically changing their minds, dude. And that's, you get to see that. I don't get to see that as an artist. It's one of the great privileges, it's one of the great honors of being a musician, dude. You get to see it in the moment.
Do you know what? That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I am so happy that I get to do it. I love what I do, and I'm sure you love what you do completely. You do it for free, right? You do it for free, and here's how you know you are an artist at your core, because you'll do it way into your old age, whether you're being paid to do it or not. I know I'll be writing music. I'll be writing music my whole life. You know, once my candle fades of the, you know, commercial industry, you know, situation, I'll still be writing music because I love to. I love writing music, and I just love putting it together, you know. But you have to believe in it. You have to believe in what you're doing. And that was a big thing for me, is I always knew I was good. It was just keep telling people you're good, keep showing people you're good. And eventually people saw it and people believed in it. And it's the power, I guess the power of suggestion. It's positive suggestion. It's like, look, guys, listen to what I'm saying. Trust me, and every time you perform, the crowd will slowly get bigger, and they'll slowly get bigger, because they believe what you're saying. You're genuine with it, and in your heart and soul, and they see that passion. And what is it? What does it say? The law of attraction. Energy attracts energy, so good energy will attract good energy. Like me and you are talking right now. Good energy attracts good energy. So it's like, if people see you or they hear you, experience, like everyone in that room that got to see that experience with my mum at the show, I know that they'll be back for another show. because that was such a good, it was very, very personal, and you can only get it at the show that night. Do you know what I mean? We keep giving this positive energy out into the universe. We keep putting out positive energy, and we start to see it coming back. Do you know what I mean? But we never notice it because our head's down and we're just going and going and going. So the thing is you've changed people's lives with your art. You'll have people there. Like, I always thought, personally, art is subjective. You either love it and have to have it in your life and I need this, or you're nothing of it. Do you know what I mean? It's completely the same with music. Either people will connect and they're along for the ride then, or they'll think nothing of it and they'll move it, they'll keep it moving. But the people that do connect, they're the people that will be with you for the entire ride. As long as you don't lose yourself in the corporate black hole, shall we say?
Yes. Yeah, or dude, it's go beyond that. Just don't lose yourself up your own backside. Don't. That's the more of a case. Don't crew up your own arse, man. I mean, because the reason I reflect this, dude, because I'm really fascinated this because it's been from, you know, I dip into both, so I know what it's like to sort of create music and do art stuff. But I'm always fascinated with music that I just think it's, I don't know. I personally think art and music are because they're two of the strongest things we see and we hear. So yeah. I think it's one of the things that can, you know, it can cross all boundaries, and you can show people artwork. Most people understand artwork all around the world, and so particularly with music. But music, man, and this is one of the things it relates to. And I think, particularly now hearing your accent, I know you understand this fully. But it's that moment when you stood in a football ground, like the Cop, or if you're an Everton fan at Goodison Park, and you get all those people singing. They're not singing. It's like about human beings stood there in a moment of, and they're expressing it through a tune. And whether it's in a football crowd, it makes the hairs on your back of your neck stand up. And that is something. That is something that, like you said, you have that power when you're out there, dude. It's an incredible thing that I think is just
an ethereal moment, isn't it?
And I think it's intrinsically human, and that's what I said about the power that we have inside us, because you're tapping into that stuff that's. Like I said, I think it's in our DNA. I think it's in our bones.
Mate, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's we're told we're individuals our whole life. We're told, you know, we're free thinkers and stuff like that. But what we're not told, and what we find out through things like music, is that pain is pain. Struggle is struggle, right? Now bear with me. Everyone is different. We know this. We're all different. And it's all wonderful. But heartache we've all felt at some point or another. You know, betrayal, friendship, love. We've all felt these things. And I think music is the one universal thing that hones right in on that and says, look, this is how I felt. And that's why it grips people, because they're like, wow, different people, different generations, different women. But yeah, I felt that. I know exactly what that feels like. I know what it feels like to look down the bottom of a bottle and go, wow, this really crushed me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm so grateful. And I really am, man. I'm grateful for everything. I'm such a believer in not taking anything for granted. And I'm really, really just saying thank you for every level of it, because so much has to go into doing what I do. You know, as I say, to manifest the thought into something that will be performed at a festival, even, you know, a lot of people have to be involved in that process. There are so many layers to it that you can't but be like in awe, mate, just in awe. And then to have fans of the music who, and I think this actually draws back to something Dave Chappelle said to me. He turned around to me and said, do you know what? The most important people, he said, oh, sorry, buddy. He goes, the most important people in this entire world are the people in this room right now. He goes, because it's a Thursday night. They've got work tomorrow. They've had to get off their jobs. They've had to go home, get dressed up, spend their hard-earned money to come into this venue, to stay till stupid o'clock, knowing that they're going to get home early hours and have to start at 6 a.m. again. These are the people that are the most important in the world. And unless you realize that early on and you appreciate them, then you will be nothing. You will get nowhere. You need to appreciate the energy people put into you. And it's exactly as he said it to me. He said, you need to appreciate the energy that average Joe puts into you, because they are the people that will put you on their shoulders and lift you to where you need to be. And literally, it resonated with me anyway, because of the fact I'm from a council estate. I'm from poverty. I'm from nothing. I know about community, like, support. I know about community, you know, almost like a community bond. I know about helping the people around me and being helped by the people around me and appreciating. They don't have to do that for us. They don't have to come out on a Thursday night to see some kid from England. They don't need to. So unless I'm really grateful and genuine about it, I won't have a long run. I really won't, because people don't like arrogance. Do you know what I mean? That the average person doesn't like arrogance. They want someone that they can really connect with. Do you know what I mean? That was one of the biggest things for me, man. Like, so again, I am so grateful for every single part of the process that is in place to put a show on, and to be able to spread what I think to people and reach who I'm going to reach. That's a blessing. That's a blessing, mate.
Yeah, dude. I was just honestly, when you were saying what Dave Chappelle said to you, you know, and I was just thinking, like, dude, that could have been said in, you know, the changing room of Anfield, or Don Revy could have shut it out, Shanky could have said that out. That's exactly, dude. It's exactly. I was just thinking, like, this crosses all genres. It's not. I mean, like, honestly, he was talking about comedy. You could say the same about music. You could say about anything that you put into life, dude. And I think, I this is being real, dude. I have no worries about you being that kind of person, and this is true because of the kind of because of the way you're from, dude. I don't ever have worries about people from when I know they're from certain parts of the world, because I think you're just going to have family and friends around you who are always. It's one of the great things about being, particularly, you know, like, you're working class and from England, man. You're just surrounded by people who are going to never let you get above your station. Yeah, they never let you get away with it. They take the piss out of you right royally, man. So I don't ever worry about that with you. So I think it's, you know, like, but you said, man, it's always in a demon that all us creative people have to fight, that ego, man, and not to start thinking it affects us all, dude. We can't just say because we're from working class northern cities or whatever, it doesn't matter, because it affects every human being, and I've seen so many careers just destroyed by it.
Yeah, I've seen it, man. I've seen people's egos. What is it? It's they said to me, what is it? Never reach beyond your grasp. Do you know what I mean? And it was a situation where a few of us were sat around, and a few friends of mine have just had some big things happen. You know, they've just got onto big compilation albums and things like this. And I'm like, that's incredible, man. That's incredible. Keep going, keep pushing. I'm like, because you need to maintain your professional, like, your professional image, your professional stance, because you never know who's going to turn up to your next show. You never know where your next gig may take you, you know, like, so approach everything like it's your first gig. Approach everything like you're hungry, and never lose sight of how blessed you are that this is your job and you're eating off it. Because how many people are in the world, like I said, doing their 9 to 5s, doing whatever they want to do, like, in that respect. How many people are there in the world that do that instead of this? I mean, we hit the stage. We get on stage for an hour. you know what I mean?
Mm.
I can't complain about that. I can't complain about that if it's feeding my family. And you know, I owe it to people to give 100% when I'm on stage, and I do, mate. I give blood, sweat, and tears when I'm on the stage. I really do, because that's my job. Do you know what I mean? It's my job, and I've already done the hard work. I've already been brutally honest in my lyrics. So I've just gotta tell you them. I've just gotta relate. Do you know what I mean? The hard work's done. The heartache and the pain is already there on paper. I've just got to convey it now. Do you know what I mean? Which is easy enough done, because they're stories from my life, and people can relate.
Exactly, man. Well, look, dude, it's been an hour flown, and the reason I've got to cut this short is I've got other appointments tonight. But dude, there's a couple of things before we do wrap this up. I mean, obviously, just let people know where they can, if they want to find you and stuff, where they can reach out and find you.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at official Hayze. That's Hayze. Instagram is official_Hayze, again, Hayze. And Facebook is official Hayze. So yeah, man, just drop me a like, drop me a follow, drop me whatever, and I'm just doing what I do, mate. You know.
Well, man, on the very kind of what we were just talking about being checking each other, dude. What's with the Z, dude? It's Z. You're English.
Zed.
It's
You
Z.
know what, right? No, literally. That's my second. Oh, Z and Z. Do you know what? I got pulled for that so many times in America that it became the natural thing. It became the natural thing. I can't believe we just done it yet. Oh, dear.
No, dude, that's what I'm saying. It's bad habits, man. We all fall into them, but that's what I'm saying. So they can find you on there, man. And just generally, obviously, is there any sort of particular dates that you want to sort of really particularly highlight? I mean, obviously, people can follow out where your gig shows and stuff. Is there any sort of anything in the next sort of couple of months you've got really big coming up that you really want to sort of like highlight?
Mate, do you know what? Right, I'm actually in album writing mode at the moment.
Okay.
You know, I'm talking to a few people to get the album together and things like that. So my last show was my last show until I release the next single. And because basically what we're going to do is we're going to do all of the festivals in the UK and as many as we can in the States in 2018.
Cool.
Because a lot of my friends are performing at like the Isle of Wight Festival, Festival, things like that. Like, so we're gonna do the whole UK circuit next year, and we're gonna go back to the A3C with the brand new material, because No Sunshine and Sorry for the Wait, they're coming up to nearly a year old now. So we need new stuff. We need to get a fresh batch of memories down, basically. So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm working on a brand new album.
So okay, just briefly on that one. Whereabouts in that process have you done? I mean, you've got is it a case of like you put 20, 30, 40, 50 songs together and then you squeeze that down? And if so, whereabouts in that process are you, dude?
Well, I'm 6 tracks in. I know, right? 6 tracks. But I culled that down. I basically culled that back from about 20. And what I'm doing, instead of putting out, the idea was put out a 20-track album called The Pride Before the Fall, right? But then I had an epiphany. I was like, I can't put conscious and deep tracks next to turn up in the club misogynistic tracks, right? Because although they are two sides of me, morally, it just feels wrong now at this stage in my life. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the album and I'm splitting it directly in half. I'm going to get 2 poets in to do a poem at the start of the Pride and a start of the Fall to explain pride, community pride, personal pride, morals, values. And then I'm going to get him to do the Fall, which is debauchery, misogyny. It's just all the gutter stuff that I've gone through in my life. And the first album will have, the first 10 tracks will be, you know, community, love, hope, you know what I mean? And the second album will be the club tracks, the, yeah, I'll take your girlfriend, you know, all the braggadocious stuff. But they'll both be put out on the same day, exactly at the same time. And at the end of each of them, I'm going to turn around and be like, this is just one side of me. And it really is, because we're multifaceted. We've got so many angles to us, but I can't consciously put conscious songs right next to misogynistic songs. It just feels wrong to me. So you'll gravitate, you know, different generations and different levels of love for hip hop will resonate onto different albums, if that makes sense. Like the older heads, the people who listen to lyrics, may go for the deeper album and may not so much mess with the club album, whereas the younger generation will resonate with the club album. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. So
cool, man. Well,
we're getting there.
That's even more reason to reach out, follow you, and just keep a track of what's going on, man. I'll be you know, looking forward to that, dude. Well, while I queue up, and I say before I do sort of finish this off, I want to thank you for giving me your time, dude. And, you know, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man, and always an insightful conversation. And one of the things I like I said to you before, I wanted to play out tonight with I don't know what you want to call it, eight. I don't know how you actually pronounce it, V11, whatever you want to, how you want to pronounce it. But I'm going to queue that up and play it out. But like I say, it's been absolute pleasure to talk to you. While I'm queuing up, maybe you sort of give us some, you know, any sort of thoughts on that track, particularly what you can remember about it or anything like that while I queue it up. But like I say, it's been absolutely an insightful conversation. As I said, doors always open, and well, like I say, I'll queue it up, and while I'm queuing up, you give us an overview. But like I say, thanks for coming on and giving me your time tonight, brother.
Oh, mate, it's an absolute pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I get lost in our conversations a little bit, so I do apologize for anyone that's watching if I ramble. Okay, so the song's called 8, and I produced the track myself. It was the first track I actually produced after my, you know, my time with the guys from Slum Village and the Dreadnoughts. They taught me a lot about producing, and basically it reflects the birth of the record label. It reflects the birth of Air Force Records and the journey from the UK, from being an unknown underground rapper to flying over to America and wishing that my team were there with me, but knowing that they will be. And along the way, we lost artists that maybe lost their way or decided it weren't for them and things like that. But it's my kind of, it was a track I wrote to reflect on where we were, you know, the journey so far. So that's where 8 came from.
Still hear them cheering. Can you hear the applause? A sea of people all screaming for the Air Force, and I know you feel it, know you hear it, know that it's hard, but your heart's still beating. Battling your pride while you're battling your demons. Need to provide, but you're killing all your dreams, and I can't bear witness. You were too gifted. We were on the brink of finally getting into business. All of those nights spent trying to get in this. Take all the time that you need, and get at me. Ain't going nowhere. I am always right here on the strength of a call I would take to the air from anywhere in the world. That's what you do. We're family.
You can let the river hold your heart and grow. When they tell you you're the one, you were not alone.
Thinking how we got him in the first place. Always loved music, never could play. but I could write thoughts on a blank slate. So when they put me on a plane to the USA, and I wish that you could have come with me. Knowing me and you, we would have made history. All the things that I've seen, or you will see. Man, I'm talking to the team, no, you feel me? I'm talking to Mike and I'm talking to Dave, talking to Kev and I'm talking to James, talking to Nat and I'm talking to Drake. Looking back, look at all the things that we did. Who'd have knew that we'd ever come this far from a council estate to a Hollywood star when it all seemed lost and our backs to the wall? You show beauty in the form of a song.
You can live forever. Hold your heart and don't let go. Don't you dare, no. When they tell you you're not one, but you're not alone.
So thank you, I'm so grateful through all the trials that we came through. This gift I give to you, everyone at this table. Found home in an open mic, found brotherhood on a Cancun flight. If your heart's ever trapped in the dark of the night, I'll be right there just to show you the light. Cause I'm here to protect you, I'm here to defend you. I'm sitting in handcuffs right next to you when they arrest you. Cause we got a bond that is thicker than blood, and it ain't cliche when I say that it's love. Cause I think about the nights that we nearly give it up, so I gotta give thanks to the Lord up above. Thank you.
You can live forever. Hold your heart and don't let go. When they tell you you're not one, you are not alone.